calm in the eye of the storm for the buzzer. Leary will break off in this match, the 5th of 6 on the night.
I was impressed with Brian in the last match, not just because of the result, but the positivity he showed. You know, it's what we've sort of all been calling for from him for a while now, and he took the ball by the horns and he made some finishes. He now needs to build on that.
Yeah, you thought that 8 ball was going in as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I stopped in my tracks for a second. I thought, better finish that sentence quick.
Yeah, this was close.
He didn't need much more to go bottom right. Pretty good layout as well. The 2 reds here, they don't look great, but they do plant. Careful here, he might have just gone a turn too far. You'd rather have been straight or a turn short of straight, because then you could drop it in and the yellow doesn't come into play. He'd like to drop it in dead weight and then play the one that he leaves over the pocket. It would make life easier, but now he's going to have to play a little bit firmer. That one could have gone wrong, but he's played it really well.
Judged it beautifully. These look fiddly, but will all unfurl.
Yeah, it's actually the one he's nearest to the bottom left. Does it go now? And if he's straight enough, do you take it now? I think there's huge value in taking it now if he can.
Because it's not an easy ball.
No, it's not. It's hard to get on it. I know it's going to be difficult to get onto the final red if you take it to the bottom left now, but it's going to be difficult anyway. No, maybe it doesn't go, just saw a glimpse there. Maybe it didn't go. So he may be playing this red off the yellow, opening up the pocket for that red.
He's starting to run out of reds to land on that. I think he's in a bit of olive.
I think it's just about finding the line of the cue ball. We potted it clean, which I'm really surprised at. There was massive value in opening up the pocket, and he only has to, feather the yellow, so he didn't need to take too much of it. It wasn't going to change the line of the cue ball that much. I'm really surprised. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was trying to move it and just cause it a little clean. I don't know.
Right up against it now is Dylan. It's an excellent pot.
Oh, that's brilliant. That could not come out better for him. That's maybe not how he drew it up, but he'll take it.
Yeah, we'll show you the replay of this. Watch the cue ball. That's the most important part of it. That's a huge stroke of luck, you got to say.
Oh, it's massive, because he hit that so full ball, you almost expect the cue ball to stick, and you don't see the last red, and then obviously the ball he hits goes and opens up the pocket, and the cue ball spits out. It's a little bit fortunate, that one. If he had the vision to see it, it's excellent, but I'm sure that was fortunate.
If he deliberately played that shot, that would be right up there, but that's got to be it.
Well, Dylan's one of those players. I don't know whether he is a player that likes to hold their hand up just to acknowledge or not. I didn't notice him doing it at the time. He certainly didn't do it at the end of the frame. So, you never know. it would have been something else.
Yeah, maybe it was an excellent shot. Let's have another watch.
Yeah, I mean, he's so close to... I mean, if he catches any more of that yellow, he's full ball snookered. And obviously the fact it's gone and opened up the pocket and everything else. I mean, I guess fortune favours the brave.
Brian Halcrow just had to sit and watch that. It was only a break and run. So he's got to tell himself he's made a ball. Didn't get all of that break. But he's got half a sniff here. Yellows look more open. Reds are tricky for sure.
Yeah, and we talked about his break at the start of the night, and it's so hard to be consistent through a tournament, through a match, through a night of pool when you stand up on it. And this time he gets it slightly wrong, and he doesn't get the open split he was looking for. I know we've seen him hit a couple of great breaks doing it. I just think the cut breaks, it shapes up better for Brian than that front ball break does for me.
And he's cut broke well as well.
And he's cut really well. The couple he's hit tonight, very, very good. But they've looked repeatable and controllable.
That's a good shot. He's been a little bit unlucky, potentially.
We can see the yellow to bottom right. think he might have the gap here. But he still has a problem with the yellow guarded by those 2 reds, so there's some problems here.
Yeah, it does have a home, but you got to land above it. That's not easy.
There's not much room, is there, to even if you were to land above it.
Yeah, you've got to be really precise.
You've got to be precise, and there's no good ball to land above it. So the double was a good choice because it gave him the angle then to play the breakout next shot, but obviously doesn't land. Not the easiest of counters here for Dylan. I feel like this is a big moment in the match and the night for both of these 2 players. You know, once your opponent misses first chance, you feel like you're meant to win the frame. Dylan will feel like that right now, but not certain. If he pulls back and goes tactical, then it becomes quite an even frame. It's obviously 6 versus 4 in terms of balls on the table. You'd rather favour Dylan, but not by much.
That's a brave shot. He's left the cue ball right in the zone where he's saying to Brian, I don't think you can make this.
I don't think it goes from here. Well, maybe it does the way he's looking now. I thought you had to be straighter on it.
Oh, it goes.
It does. That's an excellent shot. Obviously, that's not where Dylan was trying to leave the cue ball. He was trying to get towards the top right-hand corner and hide the yellows away. Brave shot. He got it wrong. That was excellent from Brian, though. Take nothing away from him. That was brilliant.
Definitely got a pep in his step. That's the buzzer. Nicely played. Must-win game for both players, as we mentioned. We saw him a moment ago. Mccullough may yet have a big say in this match, or in this, not in this match rather, or in this group. The result against Shaun Storry would be very helpful for his mate Dylan Leary. Yeah, they're very much one team.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be pulling for him, but Dylan's got to do his bit first, though, hasn't he? Dylan's got to win this match. He'll be kicking himself that he didn't do better in that frame. That was an opportunity to sort of take control of this match and didn't do enough with it. Obviously, it was a tough safety. I actually thought he could see the pot to top right, and if the safety was that tough, it was only going to be 1 cannon required. Do you back yourself? Easy to say in hindsight once his safety's gone wrong.
Too sure how that one's drawing.
Tough layout, though. It is a tough layout, this. The 2 reds at the top of the table really are a problem. The yellows are a non-starter, so what does Brian do? Maybe the left-hand red passes the 8 ball to the top corner, in which case you can open up the other one.
Doesn't look like it though, does it?
Doesn't to me, no. Did he have an angle there to go up and do something with it? If you can in the yellow, you can pop everything into play in one shot. I'd have to see that again. It all happens very quickly out there. Well, he didn't try, so that red must pass the 8 ball, and he's just got his line horribly wrong. He wanted to be the other side of the yellows to leave an angle where he can open up the red and yellow together. There was no effort to move anything there, so it tells us that ball must go. Just trying to guard the 8 ball. The problem that he's got is that the yellows are terrible because of the reds at the bottom of the table. Well, they're not that bad now. It's just that one yellow that's a problem. The question is, does it go left centre once, if he could get above it and maybe target the red just to the right of it? He'll take a good shot, but he's got a couple of good balls to do it with, so he's going to wait. Ball in hand will really help, but even if not, Brian will have to just move a couple of balls here, so it might open up and make it easier for him.
Well, the concern is for Brian is that he might just have done Dylan's work for him.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was any way that you could get to another red on the table. Was it worth it? Worth the risk compared to doing what he's done, which is open things up? I guess he was hoping that if he got that solid contact on the red, which he felt he was going to off one cushion there, would it make the 8 ball really awkward? Would it still leave a mess at the top of the table? And unfortunately for Brian, it hasn't.
And these now are sitting ducks for lethal Leary.
Get the right hand side there. Just wanted to make sure he wasn't leaving too much angle on this yellow and having to play around with those reds and going in out the top end of the table.
Good finish from Dylan Leary. Wins the tactical exchange with Brian Halcrow. These two getting as good as they've got. Remember, both must win. And Halcrow revisiting some of his work. We'll just remind you, while we've got chance, of what's coming up next week. Group number 6 of the Champions League is a belter. Zach Cooper, Hitan Patel, Phil Harrison and Rob Chambers. 2 new Ultimate Pool professionals coming up in Group 6. And that, from Brian Halcrow, has been coming.
Yeah, it's just a tough break to consistently hit well. I've said it all night long. The stand-up break, it's hard to get the strike right every time, and that's the one that goes horribly wrong. Complete miss hit.
Well, you can liken the break in many ways to, a golf swing, which I know, if I started you on this, you'd never get out of this Venn diagram.
Yeah, how much longer have we got left on the show? We've got plenty to talk about if you want to go down that road.
But, and I'm very much no expert, but essentially, on a big strike like that, you want as few moving parts as possible to keep as much of it controllable and repeatable. As soon as you're adding elements to it, like a stand-up and all the rest of it, that's so difficult to consistently repeat.
Yeah, it is, and we've seen a few players do it and do it really well. Ryan Fleming comes to mind as the one that really showcases it, but we saw that graphic for who's coming up next week. Phil Harrison's a player that from time to time uses the stand-up break. He uses it when he needs more power, when his control break isn't working, but he doesn't use it very often simply because he knows he can't control it. It's just, I'm not saying Brian shouldn't be trying it if that's what he needs to do to get the power he wants, and we've seen 2 or 3 brilliant breaks from him using that tonight, but this one was the downside of it. Dylan's leaving the problem late, which isn't ideal.
Yeah, he's got some insurance.
You can
He's got 2 reds left.
Yeah, you can go into it now, but if you get the 4-ball cannon on the red, you're not likely to be on it. If you go into it, if you can see the one top left to go into it, it's slightly more margin of error in terms of you get the cannon, you're more likely to be on something. Obviously a harder cannon. he's got to go this way and fire into it, hope for the best. Yeah, that's not good. I actually thought he might play that with more pace, just simply because of the control shot didn't look likely. It looked like the red was going to stop dead when it hit the yellow, and it has.
Does still have a shot, but he's digging pretty deep here if he continues to go. As we enter the 15-second shot clock zone.
The double might get him back in good position. The pot is obviously a terrible line for the cue ball. Oh, beautiful.
Hell of a double.
Yeah,
It's perfect cue ball.
he's still not out here because the yellow below the cue ball now plays like a beach ball. That's the line you want to be on. Now he's got to sort of screw back and try and avoid it one way or another. Well, he wouldn't have been on it even if he'd made the pot, so Brian with 430 has a chance.
4:30 to go 2-2. Shaun Storry will be watching this with interest, I'm sure.
That's okay. Deal with these two down by the 8 ball. And looks like the one on the top cushion becomes your last ball, but that's fine because the 8 ball will be wide open. Oh, we're not going to find out. That was a poor one.
Yeah, difficult to know what to put that down to. It's a bad miss from Brian.
15 seconds, I guess. Probably the biggest culprit. Pressure.
Two balls away from 2 frames clear. Oh, just slid it in, but in slightly overcutting it. A little bit long on his cue ball, but you couldn't really ask for too much more. A little bit of a wobble, but Dylan Leary should go 2 frames up here. Yeah, that 8 ball wasn't missing, was it? Gets away with 1 fraction there, Dylan.
Yeah, first really bad mistake from Brian for a little while. He played well in the previous match, but it was a bad miss. He was in good shape, but he just had to knock it in. Cue ball on and off. You know, pretty natural layout thereafter. So yeah, every right to shake your head, Brian. That was a tough one.
Still keeping his chin up though. It's the buzzer.
Frame 5, don't leave it 3. Leaving 3 frames at all.
But he will know. There's a long way back in this match, particularly after that break from Dylan Leary. You might as well put your cue away now, Brian.
Just the yeah, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be rolling. It's just that one yellow at the bottom of the break area. Might go reds because of that. If you're going red, should you take the 1-2 together straight away? Probably not at 3-1 up with 2.5 minutes to go, because it was just missable enough that could have opened everything up in one shot. Well, the way he's looking here, maybe a red passes the yellow to right centre. Doesn't look like it.
I think it does.
Yeah, which I guess it does make sense going the way he's gone. If he goes the other way around, the cue ball would have just flicked the yellow and opened everything up in one shot, and then it just comes down to the transition. Into the corner.
But.
Didn't see that shot. It's gone wrong. Needed a little bit higher. Couldn't replay that with much less pace.
Brian Halcrow, it's worth pointing out, isn't out with a draw. Will just about stay alive. He would then need a little bit of help. Well, that's a ball that's gone in.
Oh, and he's on this one as well. You saw Rab in the background there. He couldn't watch. That's unbelievable.
That is a hell of a nudge for Brian Halcrow.
He's going to get out here. He's going to get out here. He's got the next break as well, hasn't he? So Oh dear, got a feel for Dylan. Although he brought it on himself. It wasn't the best of visits. Maybe be interesting to know whether he'd go that way if it wasn't the time situation.
Yeah, minute left for Brian. 2 balls to make. His break next. But that was, well, a heck of a yellow. In rolls the 8 ball. 1 frame in it. Brian Halcrow stays in the group with a draw. I would simply ask Shaun Storry, you must win.
Yeah, let's have another look at this. This is outrageous. I mean,
You've got to know your angles in this game.
And he's down on it instantly as well, isn't he? It's incredible.
No mercy.
Yeah. But from Shaun's perspective, it makes he doesn't really care who wins this next frame, really, as long as it's not 2 frames, because whether it's a Brian draw or a Dylan win, it's the same scenario. He just has to win the final game.
51 seconds, and Brian Halcrow must win this frame. A ball on the move. Brian Halcrow on the move. The quickest man in pool needs to get his skates on.
It's there. Right in the bottom of the table's awkward, but you can get to it.
The buzzer is buzzing. Oh! I don't think you can believe it. It looked like it was there for him. Leary pulls his extension. He isn't going to have the time to wrap these up. He doesn't need it. He's going to get the win, and he is going to ask the question of Shaun Storry. A great night for Brian Halcrow. He played really well this evening. Not quite to be for him though. But Dylan Leary stays alive in the group, and he asks the question of Shaun Storry, who must win his last match. And if he does, he goes through. If he doesn't, Dylan Leary is waiting.